is regardless of the investigation, we believe the board has committed at least 6 acts of malfeasance, and therefore it is time for them to resign. Let me just go over these 6 points with you, and then I'm going to turn it over to some of my colleagues to speak. Number 1, we believe they've disregarded a very hostile environment for the employees. Never in my years as a legislator or as a businessman have I seen the way employees have been treated. And we've heard audio tapes, and many of you have heard audio tapes. It's not acceptable in any business, and it is certainly reprehensible in a government agency. Number 2, blatant abuses of nepotism. In your packet, you will see information provided to us by the Commission as part of our Freedom of Information request, where there are multiple family members, the Brown family, Mr. Brown's son's girlfriend's family, and of relatives of the board. You know, not only does it have to look right and smell right, it's got to be right. And those of us who hold public office, whether it be on a volunteer board, or whether it be in this General Assembly or on County Council, we have to go out of our way to avoid the perception of an impropriety or of nepotism. Clearly, they have failed in that regard. Number 3, approval of irresponsible compensation. In your packet is a survey from the Association of Counties of what recreation directors make across this state. You can also go to the state's database and see what our state agency heads make. Most recently, in the midst of all this turmoil, the board's response was to give the director a $30,000 raise, bringing his salary almost to $152,000. That is not acceptable. This director makes more than any recreation director in the state and makes more than half of our state agency heads, if not more. Number 4, multiple allegations of sexual harassment and inappropriate conduct. I think number 4 speaks for itself. All you got to do is go read the complaints that are currently being litigated. And by the way, I might add, these complaints, when they're settled at a cost. There's several settlements that have taken place over the last few years. You can get that information from the Insurance Reserve Fund. But there are half a dozen cases pending now that are going to cost money. The board members themselves are being sued. Number 5, lack of oversight. Clearly, we have an unaccountable board with no oversight over what's going on in that commission. You know, I've been serving on this delegation with many friends here for 18 years, and we typically have received letters or emails about a problem here and there. And over the course of the last few years, the letters and emails we received about the Recreation Commission have been ramping up. And it's caused a lot of us to have a lot of conversation amongst ourselves. I regret that we didn't step in earlier. This is a failed structure. This is a failed structure where we appoint commissioners, county council funds them, and they're accountable to nobody. And I think we all applaud county council for holding back a balance of their funding until they get some answers. So there's no oversight. And then excessive litigation and costs. We know in last year's fiscal year, they expended an additional $85,000 in legal expenses due to some of these human resource problems. That's $85,000 that should be going into our park system, for our children, for our seniors, for the citizens of Richland County.